What connects French architect Paul Gourdet with the historical center of Almaty? Why is the Jarkent Mosque the single surviving work of Chinese architect Han Pike? Where is Valikhanov's manor house City Mbiet located? Forgotten names and little-known facts, recent history and national color. All this is in the Grand Buildings program. Today in our program, Expo International Exhibitions background. Ideal architectural form of Nur Alem Pavilion. Amazing zone objects of best practice. Astana Contemporary Art Center, creative and architectural mecca. Crystal Palace in London's Hyde Park was built of cast iron and glass under Joseph Paxton's guidance in 1851. 300-meter tower named after its chief designer Gustave Eiffel, now his most recognizable symbol of Paris. Royal Palace in Melbourne, Rotunda in Vienna, and even the Space Needle is a symbol of the Seattle city. What unites these amazing architectural structures? Unique appearance, genius of their creators, and of course that they all were built on the eve of the Expo International Exhibitions. First World Exhibition was held in London on the initiative of Prince Albert in 1851. Since its inception, nature of exhibitions can be divided into three periods: industrial era, era of cultural exchange, and epoch of national branding. Since 1988, countries have started using exhibitions as a way to improve their national image. Moreover, this was equally true of both host country and participating countries. Decision to hold Expo in Astana was announced in the framework of the 152nd General Assembly of International Exhibition Bureau held in November 2013 in Paris. The capital of Kazakhstan was proud and honored to be the first city in Central Asian region and CIS countries for Expo staging.
And expos are also, now that the word branding is very much in fashion, are elements, key elements of the branding, not only of the host country, but also the branding of the participating countries. Citizens need, concrete examples, need to see the effort that every country is doing to solve problems which affect everybody. And also citizens have to be, mobilized, because without engagement of the citizens, there is no possibility of solving any of the big issues of humankind: energy, health, food, or whatever. No, we need to create, awareness and also a solidarity among the citizens. And this is the raison d'etre of expos. Also, expos are platforms for innovation. We have an agreement with the International Patent Office, and every invention, every new thing submitted in an expo is protected by the fact of being part of the expo.
For the next 3 years, delegations from Kazakhstan have repeatedly attended meetings of the General Assembly of the International Exhibition Bureau. They received practical advice, reported on executed work, and shared their impressions with colleagues. As on a country scale, Expo staging was a truly grandiose event.
Now we need to know what is the state of the preparation of every country, because some countries will do very quickly their preparations, some others will be slow. I think that now the priority is to push the countries to be ready. From the point of view of the organizer of Astana, from the national company, I think that they will be ready, they will be on time, and I am very confident what they are doing.
Construction site for Expo objects was located on the territory of 174 hectares. Over 1,400 Kazakhstani companies and about 50,000 workers were connected to the work. Such impressive human resources were quite natural because it took only 3 years to complete the work. Main difficulty in construction of Expo facilities was in very short terms. Expo project is very ambitious in terms of architecture and engineering. During winter, construction work did not stop for a second, considering extremely cold climate of Astana and wind loads. Builders had to follow all building norms and technologies very strictly in order to make high-quality buildings. More than 100 applications from 20 countries were received at the International Architectural Competition for the best sketch idea of Expo 2017 exhibition complex. First, the competition attracted attention of craftsmen behind whom there had already been a successful experience in designing such structures. Among them, Stefano Boeri, architect of Milan Expo 2015, Nana Hernandez Gitashvili, author of Russian Pavilion Project, who was awarded the silver medal for the best design in 2008, and many others. Among participants of the competition, there were also names and companies familiar to the Astana city planners. For example, plan for this asymmetric design was proposed by Manfredi Nicoletti, author of Kazakhstan Concert Hall. Domestic architects, representatives of City Planners Union of Kazakhstan, Kazgor Design Academy, and even the Union of Designers of Kazakhstan also attended the competition. However, finally, the winner was a foreign project. Authors of Expo main concept are architects from the United States, Adrian Smith and Gordon Gill. It should be noted a very serious and responsible approach of architects from the United States. They painstakingly studied every detail of improvement as well as construction of the building. This is how the first architectural model of the Expo pavilions, represented by American architects, looked. Smooth lines, light silhouette, and futuristic shapes. The sketch almost completely coincides with the final construction, with exception of one important detail, the Pavilion of Kazakhstan. Initially, Smith and Gill planned to perform this key structure in the form of a stylized yurt with a rather complicated internal space. However, during work, this idea had to be abandoned in favor of a sphere, one of the most powerful architectural forms of all times and peoples. This decision was extremely successful.
Know very well before to come here, and now I can see the expo in true, and I think it's already something marvelous. I start my visit 2 days ago while visiting the big sphere, the symbol of the expo, certainly a second symbol for Astana after the Baytarek, and it's to discover the part inside the sphere, Nur Alem. It's a very important thing to do before to visit the expo and to understand what the visitor can enjoy in the different pavilions.
Eventually, dozens of international, thematic, and commercial pavilions, Congress Center, amphitheater, and art zone were located on the expo territory. All buildings were made in a single stylistic solution. They seemed to flow from one to another, creating a unique for urban space perception. For this purpose, mobile partitions were installed inside pavilions, which, if necessary, could be radically restructured to meet the needs of a specialized exhibition.
Все-таки это очень тоже технологически сложное, да, сооружение.
Still, it is also a very technologically complex structure. It is impressive. Even its location is symbolic. It is, in fact, in a new place which should, in the future, have development. Such a center should have been. Today we see Astana as a water-green boulevard where Han Shatir, Ak Orda, the Pyramid, Bayterek, and so on are concentrated. And this is another center that should live.
Как бы еще другой центр, который тоже должен жить.
During exhibition, about 4 million visitors visited the unique architectural buildings of Expo 2017. 115 countries and 22 international organizations took part in the event. Positive world resonance was so high after the exhibition that the New York Times newspaper included Astana on the list of the most interesting cities to visit, and National Geographic magazine awarded the capital a proud title of Cities of the Future.
Просто понравилось посмотреть, вот, в комплексе, да, то есть.
I just like to look at interesting modern solutions as a whole and how they were implemented in Astana. Because Astana itself is an amazing city. Moreover, in alliance with Expo, well, it is very interesting. In fact, initially, the entire complex looks great visually, especially now we're looking at it from above. In terms of architecture, of course, it catches the eye.
Цепляет, да, то есть.
Unconditional architectural symbol of Expo 2017 exhibition was central element of complex Nuralem Pavilion. This is the only building in the world made in the form of a sphere of finished shape with a diameter of 80 meters and a height of 100 meters. Total area of glass coating is equal to 5 football fields. Each glass has its own outline and weighs up to 800 kilograms. Nuralem was the most popular pavilion at the end of the exhibition, having met almost 1.5 million people.
Павильоны Экспо 2017 построены.
Expo 2017 pavilions are built based on the latest developments in the field of architecture and engineering. For example, Nuralem Pavilion has an integrated facade of the building with solar panels, as well as 2 wind turbines. These energy-saving technologies help to generate a part of the resources needed to the building's operation.
Количество энергии, которое затрачивается на эксплуатацию данных зданий.
Futuristic construction, which is located in the heart of the exhibition on the territory of 5,000 square meters, in fact produces a stunning impression. And its scale is equally impressive, as well as the skill of its creators.
Если бы мы бы просто выстроили какие-то вот, скажем, колонны, там что-то.
Of course, if we built some columns there, some kind of box, or if we blocked it, it would be much easier. Because this sphere has curvilinear constructions, and abstract to its glass coating gives rise to great difficulties. However, most important thing is that there is a stiffening core. Elevators are just there, and that's all. This task was solved.
Что там есть все-таки вот такое вот ядро жесткости, там вот лифты как раз находятся, все, и эта задача была решена.
Today, the Museum of the Future is located in a sphere. In the future, it should become a symbol of the innovative hub, an important research and cultural center. Harmonious combination of digital, interactive, and multimedia technologies allows expanding possibilities of exposition space perception, which gives unlimited scope for creativity.
8 этажей, каждый этаж.
There are 8 floors, and each floor symbolizes a certain resource of energy. Also, in Nuralem Pavilion, there's a pavilion of Kazakhstan and a model of the future Astana.
И макет будущего Астаны.
Process of energy generation by water and wind, alternative space applications, interactive biolaboratory, and even a model of a Kazakhstani material science thermonuclear reactor. All this can be seen by strolling along the floors of the Nuralem Sphere, which has become both a museum of future energy and a panorama of conceptually new development of humanity. Despite general scientific focus of the pavilion, there is also a place for art in the Nuralem Sphere.
Сейчас мы находимся в павильоне энергии ветра.
Now we're in the pavilion of wind power. You are presented with an exposition called an air fountain. American artist Daniel Wurtzel designed it. It embodies love between a man and a woman. There's another interesting artistic idea on the first floor, permeated with spirit of Kazakh mentality, namely interactive wall of hospitality. Also, our traditions and national treasures are not forgotten at the Nuralem Pavilion, since this issue is now very acute because young people unfortunately forget their traditions. However, with the help of these exhibition stands, we can remember and learn our traditions. In one day, it is almost impossible to bypass 8 floors of the Nuralem Sphere and see all this magnificence. Nevertheless, even a short tour of this ingenious structure makes an indelible impression on visitors.
Очень много слышала об этой выставке, видела по телевизору, открытие, и очень
I
обрадовалась.
heard a lot about the exhibition. I saw an opening on TV. Moreover, I was very happy when I read that the Expo pavilions were open again for visitors. It is very impressive, of course. We just went in, but I already got a colossal pleasant impression of being here. I'm very glad that there is such a wonderful exhibition expo in Kazakhstan.
Впечатление. Я очень рада, что у нас именно в Казахстане есть такая выставка, как Экспо.
Indeed, reopening of key exhibition pavilions of Expo has become one of the most anticipated events of autumn. As you know, matter will not rest here. In the near future, it is planned to place new organizations in emerging free spaces.
Мы планируем в соответствии с указом президента разместить здесь международный финансовый центр.
Here we are planning to place International Financial Center of Astana in accordance with the decree of the president. The center will be located in international pavilions. We will also have an educational center in international pavilions. In addition, there's an art center, a congress center, an energy hall where we usually hold cultural and concert events, a business program, forums, conferences, and various seminars.
У нас проходят концертные, культурно-развлекательные мероприятия, деловая программа, это форумы, конференции, семинары различные.
Best Practice Zone is located here in this building. It is symbolic center of Expo 2017, which presents the most advanced technologies, projects, and strategies in various fields of sustainable energy. The facade of the building is rather unusual. It is a cascade ledge slightly overhanging one another. When you're inside this room, this feature is practically invisible, but an atrium type of construction catches the eye. Although the building has several floors, part of the internal space and height is integrated into one, which adds ease to this room. Although, of course, being here emphasizes should not be on engineering, but on internal filling. In the pavilion, there are amazing energy-saving technologies, including construction manner.
Здесь у нас хранилище льда, который, получается, резервуар, который находится...
Here we have an ice storage. This is a special tank which is located under the house at a depth of 3 to 4 meters. There is water which accumulates heat with the help of a solar absorber. After the start of the heating season, we begin to extract heat stored in stockrooms by means of a heat pump and feed it into the house. System operates on principle of a refrigerator. That is, when we put a warm product in the refrigerator starts to take away heat and gradually freeze it. The same happens with water. When we take away heat, it starts to cool gradually, and by the end of the heating season, it turns into ice completely. Moreover, in the following summer, this ice can be used to cool the house.
Можно будет использовать для охлаждения дома.
International Committee, headed by President of Nazarbayev University, Shigeo Katsu, hosted the final decision on what exactly should enter the best practice zone. Within a global pitch, 24 projects from 13 countries representing greatest interest for world community were selected from more than 100 applications.
Это венгерский стартап, который представляет нам.
This is a Hungarian startup which represents road surfaces with a built-in solar panels. You can safely walk on them. In the meantime, they will collect solar energy. They're planned to be installed in Astana in front of the Khan Shatyr shopping center.
У нас в Астане, перед Хан Шатыром.
Astana Contemporary Art Center Pavilion is another important building of the Expo 2017. As throughout the exhibition and after its end, visitors in the educational form are introduced to various areas in the field of contemporary art. Association of National Museums of France and Grand Palace and Garage Museum of Contemporary Art were involved to create a series of installations and events in the pavilion. It is noteworthy that architecture is the main theme that prevails in the Art Center.
Наш арт-центр состоит из 2 этажей.
Our art center consists of 2 floors. We have an exhibition on the first floor that was developed together with the Garage Museum of Contemporary Art of the Moscow city. It is called Architecture of Soviet Modernism of Almaty City. As you know, Almaty is a unique city in its architecture because after the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, many republics began to get rid of their Soviet past. That is, to reconstruct and even demolish buildings of the last century. But Almaty was lucky on that score.
Но Алмате на этот счет повезло.
Authorship of exhibition paintings belongs to architectural photographer from Russia, Yuri Palmin. Even in spring, he visited Almaty, walked along the main streets, and captured the most outstanding modernist buildings of the metropolis. His works came out within the framework of the International Conference on Kazakhstani Architecture, which took place in the framework of the Expo in July, in this very room. At its end, works were thrown their doors open to general public. Now every visitor of the Art Center can penetrate not only its futuristic appearance, but also better learn the history of the Almaty architecture.
Первая фотография, которая открывает нашу выставку, это фотография гостиницы «Казахстан». Наверняка вы знаете, что это первый небоскреб, который был построен во всем.
First photo that opens our exhibition is a picture of the Kazakhstan Hotel. All of you know that this is the first skyscraper that was built throughout the Soviet Union in the technique of reinforced concrete monolith. That is, when the entire metal structure is first installed and then it is poured with concrete. Before our engineers and architects began to use it in the 70s, this technique was used only in Japan, because as you know, earthquakes often occur in Japan and Almaty, and every year, unfortunately, more and more often. Therefore, building, built in 1978, still stands without a single crack. Crown of aluminum tops building, which gives it its majestic appearance, because as you know, this building was not only a symbol of the Soviet Almaty, but of all of Kazakhstan.
Потому что здание было, как вы знаете, символом не только Алматы советской, но и всего Казахстана.
In terms of internal space organization, the Art Center is a very free room with high ceilings and a rather conditional zoning. Walls separating one hall from another do not exceed 3 meters, which makes it possible to create independent zones, but it does not restrict visitors in movement. Only a lecture hall decorated in deft dark tones is kept apart. By the way, this is the only dark room in the Art Center. All others are filled with light and are sustained in pastel colors. Furniture and books create bright accents in the interior, which also have the most direct relationship to architecture.
Вся литература была подарена нам Музеем современного искусства «Гараж».
All literature was presented to us by the Garage Museum of Contemporary Art. Here, the whole rack is collected of what was published by the museum itself. There are also publications, which unfortunately we can meet very rarely in Kazakhstan. Therefore, I believe that all those who are in one way or another interested in architecture and its history and its future, in the art and its past and future, can come here and see, read the books and everything which was collected by authors.
Почитать книги, посмотреть то, что собрано было авторами.
World community appreciated the scale of the high level of construction of the Expo exhibition objects as well as its successful implementation. Secretary General of International Exhibition Bureau Lesend Los Sertales thanked Chairman of the Board of Astana Expo 2017 National Company, Ahmedjan Yasimov, congratulating him on the implementation of the most successful specialized exhibition in history.
It is very, very important for us, the post-expo. The success of an expo is not only the 6 months, 3 months of operation. The success of an expo is in which way the expo money has contributed to develop areas which otherwise we have to wait for decades. And also how they can show that the situation that sometimes are not perceived in a positive way, they are much better than the people think. This expo is part of an urban project. We are here in Astana, in a city in transformation, in creation. And the expo is just a part of the city which is going to serve as a model for the future development of the city. This expo is not an isolated, it's part of this 20 years movement in creating a dynamic, innovative, from the point of view of the architecture, interesting city.
Futuristic city with massive glass buildings of unusual shape which both scare by their size and admire by eccentricity. Moments of future and present are just some of the epithets that social network users have awarded the expo construction. As far as they are fair, everyone decides for himself. However, it is an undisputable fact that holding Expo 2017 specialized exhibition in Astana gave an unprecedented impetus to the development of technologies and architecture. and attracted the attention of the world community to Kazakhstan.